So one of the highlights of the Donut Media series is a new 5-chapter Horizon story. Torben, what's this story all about?
It's so much good stuff. Just a deep dive into a love of cars with James and Nolan and the player character at the Horizon Festival. But it's also a sneak peek at a brand new way that players can upgrade cars in the game.
Kelly, I'm going to come over to you now. Where are we picking up here in the story? Obviously, I said this is chapter 2, and what is the main objective?
So your main objective is to pick one of the 3 cars. I personally went with the Sylvia. Make it into a rally car to apply some upgrades. You've got some little kind of tips on which ones to apply, but you can also add more if you want. And then take it out to the test track, and like Torben says, it's a new way to try out upgrades, see what you like, and
and this is one of the things that I felt just made this such a great match with Donut Media, right? Because this is about helping players understand how to use our upgrade system, which is not always brilliantly tutorialized, I'll be honest. But just going into things like the tuning menu and through writing lines for you guys and working with you guys, helping players understand why final gearing is so important as maybe the one thing you should do to any car when you upgrade it in our game. It just felt like a match made in heaven, really.
Yeah, we every piece of content that we make, we try and make educational, at least to some extent. Like, first and foremost, we are an entertainment business. Every video that we make needs to be entertaining. So everything's fun, but we sneak in a little, a
little bit of spice.
Learnings.
Some vitamins.
Yeah, it's the and I think like Forza really is the closest thing to playing with real cars. You find a car, you fix it up, you drive it fast, you break it, you fix it again.
The thing that I really enjoyed writing for this and working with you guys on was kind of finding the right facts, the right amusing stuff to put in about the individual cars. I mean, you talked about the naturally aspirated truck engine that got put into the Nissan, and it was just that kind of back and forth to find those stories that just I felt really nailed what your show is about.
Yeah, I love that the line about me being a professional passenger. I don't know if it's in the game, but I definitely recorded it on.
Yes, it is.
Hello, Forza fans. Welcome to the December edition of Forza Monthly. I am your host, Leah Bython, and we have an awesome show lined up for you today as we head full throttle into the new year. Let's take a look at the schedule for the stream, shall we? We have up first, checking in with Charlie over with Playground Games. We've got the next content update for Forza Horizon 5, and we'll get a sneak peek at how Mexico is preparing for the holidays, Horizon style. After that, they'll be pulling the bow off the first gift coming to players during the Horizon holidays, the absolutely stunning new to Forza Cupra Urban Rebel. After that, we'll say goodbye to Playground and hello to this month's Community Spotlight guest, Sapitron. Sapitron is a community commentator, organizer, writer, and the programming genius behind the Horizon Plus overlay. And then we've got Ali Tak catching us up on all of the other community goodness going on through the holidays. So, without further ado, I'll be sending you over to Charlie for the Forza Horizon 5 update. Take it away, Charlie.
Thank you, Leah. Welcome back to Playground Games. Alongside me are 3 of my most favourite faces on the entire planet. Up first, we have Torben. How are you, my darling?
Hey, Kelly. My God, we're off to a great start. I'm so sorry.
Kelly.
Yes, I'm doing well.
But you're fine,
are you? I was trying to think of a funny thing to say, and then my brain just brained me.
You did it.
So I'm sorry. I'll just pull the stone over.
Well done on the funny thing, right? We won't be talking to Torben the rest of the day. Let's try Kelly, shall we? Not Kelly. How are you? What's my name?
That's so much pressure. I'm really good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm very well. First thing I want to know from you is, are you recovered from the last update? Because I know you were particularly excited about Donut Media.
Yes, I've been playing it every week. Such great fun. Such good rewards.
Ready to go with the festivities. Love it. And last but not least, and hopefully this one will do it properly, but Chris is here. Hello, Chris. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks, yourself.
Yes, I'm very well. What have you been up to recently since the last time we saw you? Any games spring to mind that you've been busy on?
No, just
car stuff.
Just car stuff.
Just
Well,
car
that
stuff.
sounds about right for you, so I shall accept that answer. Right, so last month marked Forza Horizon 5's 1 year flipping heck, 1 year anniversary since launch, and we have this awesome graphic we cannot wait to share with you, which shows all the amazing content added to Forza Horizon 5 from Series 1 all the way up to 14. I think you'll all agree there are some pretty amazing stats there when you see it all laid out. Torben, are you ready? Yeah, you good? I want to ask you, I'm just giving you a heads up, are there any personal highlights you would like to talk about here? I mean, what a history this has been, just over 12 months, right?
Just seeing it laid out like that. I mean, obviously, we had some internal artists work on this. James just really went to town on finding ways to just stack everything onto a page and show it off. But if I had to point at the things I'm most delighted about to have in the game, it would be Horizon Origins and Donut Media.
Yeah.
Obviously, the content there was great, and the collab with Donut and James and fantastic,
Yeah.
and the work Kelly did on the Origin series also. But the thing that, as I'm a giant game design nerd, the thing I love about it is the series initial experience tech that we built to support those, that allows us to just kind of launch players into a themed experience and really lets us go deep on series when we have a really strong theme. So game design nerd in me loves those two for that reason.
Very good. Excellent work. Kelly, what about you? Any favourites from there?
For me, it's custom racing and player badges.
Badges.
Yeah.
Very nice. What is it about badges that stands out to you then? What makes them absolutely so good?
So when we were designing them, we were thinking about kind of matching them to the content. So for example, if you have drift, you have like a drifting themed badge. But then we were like, no, let's make them really kind of aspirational, like what do you find funny, what do you want to look at? So obviously there's a cat, there's a dog, so we went for just things that were really great. My favourite, Mr. Toastman.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Shout out Mr. Toastman. Absolutely. Wonderful. Okay, what about you then, Chris? Anything you want to call out there that was a highlight for you?
Yeah, for me it's Horizon Origins.
Yeah.
I've been here quite a while, so it was a real. Like,
Well, we
trip
were
back down
saying you've been
memory
here
lane.
since the beginning, right?
Yeah, I've been on all of them, so it was a really nice trip down memory lane. And yeah, I was amazed at how much you managed to get into Horizon 5 that looked like all of the other games. Yeah, it was, really good.
And I mean, my favourite thing is just the fact that, you know, it's been 12 months, as we've said, we're celebrating that, but 137 cars added since release as well. That's a mighty feat. And my other favourite bit, we're not done yet. Very good. Excellent all round. Absolutely amazing. I hope everyone at home has really enjoyed this update. And we're going to get on to the next series here in just a minute. But first, I know that we here, Torben in particular, wanted to provide a couple updates on what fixes the team has been working on. So we're going to start with the Super 7 exploit. And Torben, I want to know what steps you guys have been working on to address that.
Absolutely. So a huge part of what we do is great series updates like these, but we are really focused on the things that are damaging to our game's economy, leaderboards, all the kinds of things that matter a lot, not only to our core fans, but to us as well. And one of the things that's really been weighing a lot on our minds recently is the Super 7 exploit, which basically allowed people to get a very large number of credits in ways that was just never intended by getting the game to go into a glitchy state. And we all know games have glitches, and people will sometimes use those glitches, but the problem here was really that via the auction house, players could impact the experiences that other players were having.
See, and affect the economy, so on and
Exactly.
so forth. Yes.
And that's why we took the steps that we did on that. We shut down the auction house just to prevent that from further impacting prices while we continued to address it. And first of all, we fixed the glitch, did a patch that prevented it from happening. And then we looked at, well, what can we do to fix the price inflation that's happened? Because, as we know, auction house prices float based off of whether or not cars are being sold. And lots of credits mean that cars were selling. So auction prices were floating in a way that we didn't want. So we reset those. And then we then looked at how many credits were in the economy. And there were a lot. So what we did was we went in and we took our time to carefully identify players who had been using it a lot.
Sure. Okay.
And it generated a lot of credits. And we decided to take an approach where we would basically roll credit balances back to the point where this glitch started to become widespread.
Okay, yeah.
Kind of saying, okay, a lot of credits went into the economy there. Let's take them out again to the best extent that we can in a way that felt planful and thoughtful.
Yeah.
Having done that, having patched the game, and having reset the prices on the auction house, we reopened the auction house, which happened yesterday. And obviously, we'll continue to watch our economy and see things that happen. But I mean, we take it really seriously. But fixing something like that takes a lot longer than
Yeah, I
than
can
we'd want,
appreciate it's probably a lot.
because we don't want to knee-jerk and do it too rapidly or impact people unfairly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of moving parts to it, is what I'm
Yes,
trying to say
of
there.
course, yeah. And there's a wrap-up to that as well. There's a thank you for the patience.
Yes, there is, because it was on us, right? It was our glitch, and to kind of say sorry. Essentially what we're doing is we're giving all players two really hard to find cars. The
Love that.
2021 Audi RS e-tron GT with quite a famous fictional owner, and the 2021 BMW M4 Competizione.
Awesome.
That'll be going out to all players as kind of a, whoops, sorry, we goofed. It'll be in your in-game message center, so go get those cars on us.
Awesome. I believe there was another update as well about some leaderboard fixes you wanted to go through as well.
Yes, spoke about this the other a couple of streams back. Wow, they all kind of flow together in a good way.
Busy period for you, like that.
Yes. So we are continuing to work on our leaderboards, and our goal here is really to improve the accuracy of the leaderboards all up. And I know we've been getting questions about why haven't we just reset the leaderboards completely, start them over from scratch? And sure, that's an approach.
It's option A. Yeah.
But all of our telemetry tells us that it's really only a few people and a few leaderboard entries that are in a space that is questionable. And just totally flattening out the leaderboards just feels like it would be unfair to the people who legitimately set those scores if we deleted it all up. So we don't have plans to reset our leaderboards completely. But in the coming weeks, players should really be expecting to see more times getting deleted from the rivals leaderboards. It's a gradual process that we take our time with, because it's complicated. I know that's easy for me to say, but it really is complicated, and we're trying our best to make sure that our leaderboards remain fair and have legitimate scores. So I would be shocked if we're not having this conversation again on a stream in the future.
That's fine. I appreciate you giving us updates along the way, though, so thank you very much. But now, with the holidays right around the corner, I think this is going to be a very big show today, containing the content for both the December and January series. Kelly, I'm going to ask you first, what kind of vibes are we getting from both of these? 2 series, 2 months. What's the general gist?
Yes, we've got 2 great playlists coming up. First, in December, we've got the Horizon Holidays. And then up in January, we have the Forza, which we'll come to more of later. But this means players will get a kind of double update. So when the series in December comes out, you'll also get content for the next series in January. Yeah. So you'll be able to see into the future a little bit more than usual.
I like that. Gift keeps on giving. So we're going to be going through that playlist content for both series later on in Let's Go. I can't even say my own name properly on a show anyway. That's going to be right after Forza Monthly, so stick around and I promise I will have rehearsed the name of the game by then. So stay tuned, but right now what we are going to do instead is we're going to check out the Horizon Holiday celebrations going on in Mexico, and to do that, Chris, we're going to need the help of a very special car. Do you have something shiny and new in mind for us?
You do.
Yeah. What is it?
It's not so much on the shiny side, actually. It's kind of a satin finish. But I
disagree. It looks shiny to me.
It's kind of shiny.
It's a bit muddy at the moment, but situation and all that.
It has a beautiful paint job on it. So this is the Cupra Urban Rebel concept, and that last word is really key here. So the Urban Rebel's a car coming out in, I believe, 2025. It's a 100% electric Cupra. And this is kind of a concept on that. It's a bit of a design and tech study.
So as Kelly said, another look ahead.
Yes.
A peek into the future, you could say.
Very much so. So this, from a design point of view, it's looking at how gamification can affect a race car and its looks. But it's also looking at what the EV tech is, and just a general kind of design study and tech study on EVs.
Interesting.
To kind of feed into that project. I think the result is absolutely incredible looking. This is a really great looking car. And the livery on it as well, with all the little particles, I'm going to drive it, is to give it the feeling of movement even when it's not driving. I think it does work really well. So the particles are bigger on the front and smaller on the back to give it that kind of motion blurred look. And then it is a race car at heart as well. So it's a... so you can see the big wing on it. It's got slicks. It is a proper race car. It's fully EV.
The brake lights as well are very interesting when you spot them. There they are.
That's the thing that I love about concept cars. It's like the designers can just go, all in on all the things that would never make it into a production vehicle.
Because that was going to be my question. How much of this is concept, as in like this is what the final product will be? And this, I don't know very little about concept stuff. So is this what the final car will look like, or is this a long way away and they're just having fun with the outside of it?
It's a bit of all of it.
Okay.
So concepts are kind of a thing that tells you what the design language of the car will be. So it won't look like this because road cars have to adhere to certain rules. Mm-hmm. Concept cars are that opportunity to not do that, to do what you want. And also being kind of a concept that's also a bit of a race car, let's do a race. Being a concept that's also a bit of a race car. Race cars as well, as much as they have to follow rules, looks, they don't really have to, so you can do some slightly different things there too.
That panel on the side, the yellow panel there, is that an aero panel, or is that just a design detail?
It's probably to clean up the airflow from the back. So, nerdy stuff.
Yeah, go for it. Get as nerdy as you want.
The wheel arches are a really high pressure zone, and it creates lift. And in a race car, you want downforce, not lift. So you'll often see like devices like that, cutaways there. The car next to me kind of has that too. It's to get the air out of the wheel arches, so it's not forcing the car back up again.
That was a good fact. I liked that. I'm going to remember that when I go home and tell my family.
I won't say what particular concept car it was, but I was talking to the designer of a concept car. And you're talking about the difference between production and concept. And they said one of the challenges they faced on their transition from concept to production car was it was simply too loud when it was idling. Because obviously in a concept car that doesn't matter. It doesn't have to fit into any restrictions at all.
Sure.
You can just make the perfect machine. And I mean, this Urban Rebel concept is just what they wish that car could be.
That was naughty.
I thought I had that.
Yes.
Come on.
Let's see if I can do it.
There we go.
There we go. Just got to peek it a little bit.
Yes.
Now, my usual question at this point is, are there any celebrity drivers? But probably not with this one, unless you want to say we are the celebrity drivers.
Other than us, and I'm not sure.
Shout, when you get your hands on it, you're all celebrities too, baby.
Yes.
Not sure. Do we
2025.
I think we do. There's a camera pointing at us and we're doing it with the car. So there, done. I've determined that we are.
Amazing.
Do you have any other facts about the car that we know currently? I know we spoke a lot about the outside of it. I'm sure there's a more technical term than just the outside, but...
So I don't think I mentioned power-wise. It's, I want to say 320 kilowatts on boost mode and 0 to 60 in around about 3 seconds. Mm-hmm. So it is really quick. And for people that like upgrading, this actually builds into a really nice S2 car as well, because it's got quite a lot of downforce that's on slick. So yeah, it does build really well. Wrong place, wrong time. That car.
Yes.
I feel like we made a mistake for picking street races with all the traffic.
I was hoping we'd get it at night time.
Yeah.
Because this car really looks nice at night.
Yes.
Yeah, that red on the back looks amazing.
Yeah. I also like the lights.
How do we get this car is probably a question that chat are like, stop talking about lights and dots and tell me how I get it.
So on the 8th of December, everyone will be sent this via the message centre, so make sure you go and pick it up. And in summer, you can use it for the seasonal PR stunts.
Awesome, and we'll go through all of those in a bit, won't we? So.
Yep. It's also our Forza EV of the month, so if you want to go test it out on the racetrack straight away, jump into that.
Plenty of reasons to be using it throughout the entire month then.
Plus the street scene festival, like the lights,
Yeah, it's aesthetically quite similar to the street scene.
There we
The
go.
purple colour's lovely.
You made that look way too easy, which is very frustrating. On every show, I find that so frustrating.
I did that race in rehearsal, and they did not go quite that well.
Not quite. Valiant effort, though.
Yes.
I am going to ask you, however, though, that there are other things going on in the world of Mexico over this holiday period. Is there any in particular that you would like to show in this evolving world, Torben?
Very much so. Chris, would you care to set us route to the stadium? Yes, because a fan favourite feature is going to be making its icy return. You see what I did there?
Ice rink!
Yes,
you're good at this. You can't say my name properly, but you're good with segues.
Yes.
I'll give you that. So what's going on in the ice rink then, Tom?
basically what would happen if you filled the entire stadium with ice and then
Yes.
froze it, and then took a bunch of cars into it and made them slip around sideways.
The sort of mad hack questions that you guys here at Playground do, right?
Yes, absolutely. But in addition to that, if you just want to swing down to the left there,
Oh,
Chris.
just leave it right there.
Oh,
Do you want me to go into it, or we're going?
we're looking at let's look at the ice rink. We've got a long show. There's so much stuff to talk about.
Yeah,
Let's go into the ice
exactly.
rink
We've got
and see what
time.
happens when you put 300 odd units of measurement of the car onto ice.
Oh, there it goes.
Also, not the car for this. It's on slicks.
Yes.
It's like ice hockey. It just keeps going.
It's great. But yes,
Stunning.
fans really wanted to have this back because there
I
is
don't
something.
think it feels like the holidays in Mexico without being
Without-
able to sling a car around an ice rink, you know?
Yes.
And for
Amazing.
anyone that didn't get a chance to complete the accolades last year, you can do them again this year.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, that's good to know. I know I definitely missed a couple.
Some of those were snowman related, weren't they?
Yes.
That's a good segue.
That's another. Yeah, I was going to say where we going next because I think it's got one of them. Do you want to introduce our next location? Because I think one of those
Absolutely.
mystery things are there.
So, if we just zip off down to the town of Mullahay, because obviously there were challenges last time around to smash a bunch of snowmen, and you've kind of looked at some of the feedback that we got for that and changed up how the snowmen work.
Yes, so during winter we have the Snowman Collectible Challenge, and this year we've moved them to the top of the volcano, and there's loads, so no need to flash back to kind of get them. This time you can see a bunch, you can have fun smashing them,
Yes.
and have a really
More
good
smash,
experience.
less
Yes.
rewind.
Yes, exactly.
We also had some photo challenge. I think. Wow, I'm stealing you.
I mean, no, go for it. You can do the outro as well if you want.
Do not
We
want
do
that.
have photo challenges to talk about, though, if you want to do that. Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
So we've seen a lot of player feedback that the photo challenges are on the easier side. So we've kind
I
of
love that people are just saying, challenge me, make it harder.
so Environment Art actually had a really cool idea to hide some of the snowmen.
Uh-huh.
So each week the photo challenges require you to take a picture of a hidden snowman at a different player house.
Yes, and spoiler alert.
Yeah,
We're going to
spoiler,
show you the
here
first
is
one, but
the summer one.
hopefully that meets the standards of being a little bit more difficult, as you need to use your...
It's so great.
We're watching a crime documentary or something.
Isn't it snowman?
Free him!
Yes.
That's a really good looking snowman as well.
It's a very good looking
Really
I like how it's
snowman.
furry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, bless
Great.
him.
Yes.
Right, well, there you go. More difficult photo challenges, hidden snowmen, and one very lovely looking car that isn't out in the world yet. That is it from us here. That's it from us here at Playground Games. But as I said, this was just a tiny glimpse of the hijinks and the hilarity and the Evolving World content for the Horizon Holiday series. Coming up after this show, right after this, we're going to go through the festival playlist for both of the new seasons, all the reward cars coming up, and lots more on Let's Go. Torvin, Kelly, Chris. It's been a pleasure having you on Forza Monthly. I'll be speaking to you again very shortly, but if I don't see you again, chat, have a happy holidays. We'll see you again in the new year. Leah is up next with a community spotlight right after this.
Hello, once again, it is time for our community spotlight. My guest today is Sapitron, a man who wears many, many, many hats, as you'll soon see, from race organizer and commentator to writer and programmer. He's here to talk about all of that and more. So let's give him a warm welcome in chat. Welcome, Sapitron, to Forza Monthly. Hello.
Hey, thanks for having me. This is awesome to be here and say pretty excited to be in the box, in the little white box. I'm finally here.
Yes, you are here. I'm here to interrogate you as well. We've got lots of things to talk about because you are, we often say this about guests on the show, a man of many talents, or woman of many talents, as it often is as well. But that definitely applies to you yourself because you do everything. But we'll start with the thing that you are most prominently known for. So you have quite the passion for esports, and most people in the Forza community will probably know you as a race commentator, right? So for those of you who maybe aren't aware of you, what sort of races do you tend to commentate on?
Yeah, so main thing you'll usually see me on is 1 hour of racing, sort of enduro style events on Forza Horizon 5. So they just wrapped up the second season, but they've still got events going on. Failing that, it's usually Forza Team Wars. So that's the other big competitive category that you have within the community. And you'll also see me sort of dotted about events here and there as they sort of crop up. Occasionally you get special events around the community, and I'm usually sort of, wait, come on.
Get on with it. Let's do it. All right. Well, we actually do have a clip here from Team Wars of your commentating in action. So let's take a look.
It's there to Bonnie, but it's GRT 1 and 2 right now. Looking at the other end of the field, you got Ashborough, trying to see what moves they can eye up on the competition. And they are running a little bit further behind, but looking up at the front end of the field, as it looks like Deco made a last-minute charge that they can't really recover from. Restrung's all the way down at the bottom. I don't know what's going on there, but looking at the bottom of the field, there's just too many fights to catch up on, as Ash has made it past VTIB and is eyeing up the two HPM drivers, fighting for space between them. He's going to be peeking on the inside. He's going to have that inside run. He's going to execute that move to perfection as P7. Is he going to keep that momentum going? It's battle between Deco and Jesus there, between P5 and P6. They're fighting for space and they can't get it done. Deco has to retreat back, preserve his line, but he veers off to the side. He's all the way down in P10, P11.
So as you can see there, if you've ever watched a race, I mean, as I'm sure most of you have being here, you'll know how hectic it is commentating. There's a lot going on, a lot to keep track of, a lot to remember. But that's not all you tend to do. A lot of the time, Sapitron here, their role extends beyond just commentating to full-on broadcast production. And that is like, that's no small feat. That's a lot to be getting on with. So, I mean, can you give us an insight into that process? Like, especially when most of these events are taking place in Forza Horizon 5, which doesn't have a spectate mode, does it? So how does that all work? How do you juggle that?
Yeah, so luckily, a lot of the racers use Twitch. They go on Twitch streams and they sort of submit their POVs to us before the race. And it is, say, the full stack process. So if there's a race going on, I usually take a couple of days, just making sure that I've got everything from as small as, say, like little headers on top of the stream, all the way to making sure that, say, I've got nice transitions, I've got team profiles accurate and correct. So like how many members, team leaders, etc. As well as like livery showcases, B-rolls of the track, making sure I've got all the details for rosters from the teams. There's a lot of info, a lot of data that I have to sort of parse and compile. And I mean, I love it. I do it because I love it, but it is definitely a lot of work.
Yeah. It shows. I mean, I think it's, people probably think there's a whole team behind these things, but often it's just one person with a dream and a passion getting it done, commentating at the same time. It's a lot. And it's paid off, right? Because recently your commentating skills have earned you a role casting on the Honda Fan Cup, which is awesome. So, I mean, what was that like to get that call?
That was amazing. If nothing else, just for the fact that I was actually recommended by someone else. I say I was recommended by, in fact, to say Grumpy if he's in the chat. But I got the call forward, and it's such a shift in your mind. It's like you've gone from, I say, as much production as it is to from community level to suddenly hang on a second, I'm working with Honda. I've got a production team here. They've called me in. I still, to this day, I struggle to grasp it. It's just an amazing opportunity, and I'm super thankful to not only the team there, but basically everyone who got me to this point, and everyone who can put up with me shouting at cars going around in circles for a few hours.
It is also great to be recognized for skills you have in that area, especially when somebody else, not you necessarily nominating yourself, and that either someone else has gone, you should be there, you should do this. It's a good feeling. But how did you get your start as a commentator then?
It was kind of a happy accident. I always loved commentating anyway. Like, I'd sort of jokingly commentate on my mates' races years ago on like older titles in the franchise. And then I joined Team Wars at the start of Horizon 5. It was one day they put out an open casting call and said, hey, we're running out of commentators. We just need someone to cover this race. Doesn't really matter on the quality per se. It was just sort of like a hail. It's like a hell for anyone that they could get. I threw my hat into the ring, and at the end of it, I really loved doing it. I got positive feedback saying people liked it, and that sort of slowly crept from just coming into cast to say, actually, what if we improved this? What if we tried this? And now I'm here at the, so basically making a ton of assets from scratch.
Yeah. Since you start seeing the gaps where you're like, I could fill that. I could put something in there and improve this whole thing. Yeah, absolutely. Then that's it. It's the beginning of the end. You're just making work for yourself constantly at that point. But if it's your passion, it's never ending fun. It's just joy. So it's good to find something like that you enjoy. So you're already commentating, you're making assets, you're doing everything that could be to make an enjoyable viewing experience for people. Do you take part in races yourself?
I'd like to say yes, but it's been a hot minute since I have. I started out as a racer, and that's sort of how I got in. And then just as I've rolled more into the commentary, I've sort of stepped back from the racing, where to the point where it's even like if a race is coming up with one of the teams, it's like, actually, there's a race that I need to commentate for. It's kind of important. So it's like duty kind of overtakes. Although I will say, the perfect marriage of commentating and racing was actually the best performance I ever had in Team Wars, which was when I went 11th to 1st in, I think it was my second ever race, and I was self-commentating. I was commentating my own race for a stream while almost doing a lost to first. It was amazing.
Which is impressive, because you are... Exactly. Yeah. You're commentating your own race. You can only really talk about your own driving and those around you, and yet didn't fall to the commentator curse. You've cracked the code. They need to bottle whatever you've made up there. Yeah. And sort of selling it.
It's just the magic. The caster curse operates. It's like we steal the luck of the drivers we're commentating on, so that when we drive, we get all the sauce. Yes.
You need to give Ali some tips. I'll make sure to let him know later. So in addition to commentating, you also report on these races for the esports community as well, because you are a writer as well. So tell me about your work as a writer.
Yeah, so for me, it was a really sort of a perfect marriage of like liking to talk about the events vocally and also liking to get it out to a wider audience. So say freelance writer for esports.net, and what that basically allows me to do is I get to decide what I write on. And really, it's just sort of the perfect matchup. So not only do I get to produce these events, to commentate for them, for, say, viewers, but I also afterwards get to do write-ups about them. And that means that not only does, say, the community get the service they deserve, but also sort of the wider esports landscape gets to actually see that, hey, Forza is very much a place of racing, a place of competitiveness, and they've got some brilliant drivers in there.
Yeah, you get to promote your passions as well, which is amazing. So another, we're rattling down the list here of like all the endeavors and achievements that you have. But another endeavor of yours is Street Wars. So what is Street Wars?
So Street Wars, it was sort of an idea that we concocted, myself and a few friends. It's grown massively since, but the idea was about playing to Horizon's strengths. So it's things like the diversity of the car roster, say the amount of customization that you can do in terms of racing. So how varied and versatile the racing format is, especially with Event Lab coming into the game. And also one thing that's overlooked, which is the biodiversity of Horizon 5's world. So what we ended up crafting is almost like a divided up map. So now you can see it's almost distinct biomes that you can come in and you can claim. You can form a team with, say, your friends, or just be assigned to one as like a free agent. And effectively, although we are, say, taking a few weeks, we're launching season 2. We learned a lot of things from our inaugural season, but you can effectively say, come in with your friends, go into a team, and then start fighting for these different places of the map. So it's like, if you really like Toge runs up and down the volcano, you can claim it, and then anyone who wants to challenge you has to challenge you up and down the mountain. If you have a particular fondness for Guanajuato and the city circuits, you can have a team there. And if it's already claimed, you sort of fight for it. Really just wanted to create something unique out of what I think is one of the best qualities of the game.
Yeah, it's a really fun way of highlighting all of those, as you say, different biomes and the diversity you've got there as well, because it's kind of easy to overlook when you're just zooming around and not necessarily paying attention to where you are, just that you're getting there quickly. So it's a very nice way of doing that. But I mean, how would you participate in Street Wars?
Yeah, so Street Wars, it has a dedicated Discord, and you can, say, hop in there, read up on, say, the rules, how it operates, create your own team or join an existing one. Everything is hosted in that central Discord, and so we've got a very active staff team who's working basically around the clock at the moment as we prepare for season 2.
Amazing. Okay, on to the next thing, the blacklist. What is the blacklist?
Yeah, so this is kind of the other half of the server. So where you've got traditionally a lot of team offerings around the competitive community. So you've got, say, Team Wars. You've got, say, 1 hour racing you run individually, but you still had things like clubs together. Blacklist is purely individual. So effectively runs like a ladder. And what you can do is it's really just a good way of drop in and drop out racing. So if you had, for example, a list of 20 racers, all varying ranked in skill level, you join in position 21 and you would fight your way up those ranks to the top. And really what it allows us to do is, one, it's, say, very quick to get into. There's a lot less overhead than something like a team event. So you can purely organize it with whoever's above you. Just say, hey, fancy a race tomorrow for the spots? Go on them. Race, job done. And also it just gives a bit of a structure. So by allowing people to race against each other in that kind of order, it allows people to go up against difficult opponents, have some good racing, but not feel like it's unfair. They can learn from the players above them. So, and slowly just everyone gets to improve.
Collaborative improvement of your gameplay. I mean, there's a theme developing here, like building community through competition and helping each other as well. Not just like, you know, let's find the best of the best, the creme de la creme, but let's actually help everybody become better, faster drivers. Because then you've got competition. There's no point, you know, if you're maybe not the best, maybe you want to be still competing, but, you know, you want to be competing against people on your level. And it's nice that you can facilitate that using different methods of competition you've got here. And everybody gets better for it, so it's awesome. You brought all this actually to a head, because it seems to be your theme here, because you made a Horizon Plus overlay for Forza Horizon 5. So what is Horizon Plus?
Oh, this is almost like my magnum opus, right? This is everything I stand for, all in one piece. So what it is Horizon 5 has a beautiful feature called Data Out. What that allows me to do is essentially take values exported by the game, so like how much throttle you're using, temperature of your tires, G-forces, suspension compression, and through a third-party application called SimHub, I'm able to turn that into useful visuals that racers can then use to improve their play. So whether it's seeing in the tuning menu, like you have too high tire pressures, you'll be able to see visually, okay, my tires are too hot, might be worth adjusting those. If I'm racing, I'll be able to see like my last lap, my delta. So if I'm faster compared to my best lap or slower in certain sections. And really it's just presenting all the information that the engine provides, because it's a complex engine. Like the technical groundwork of Forza Horizon 5 is so complex and detailed, and it's really just about bringing that to the forefront.
Amazing. And how can you, if you wanted to use Horizon Plus, how would you find it?
Yep. So there's a few things. One, we are working on Xbox implementation with say PC at the moment, and at this present time, there's two places that you can get Horizon Plus from. I have an official GitHub, but we also have on Discord the Forza team, and that is a collective effort of where players can come in and say if they have their own data app projects using the program, they can submit them. So I think there's one on there that swaps your gauges to look like Forza Horizon 3 if you wanted. Like, I know some people absolutely love that gauge. So a community member, say a good friend of mine, brought it back. But it's between that and also SimHub, which is a third-party application on PC. You need to download that. And everything comes with instructions, come with README, and is just easy as in a lot of cases. It's like a one-click install and a dragging of a couple files, and you're done.
Amazing. Very, very cool. Sapitron, it has been a joy chatting with you today. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us on Forza Monthly.
Thank you very much for having me. It's amazing to be here, and just thank you to everyone again who allowed me to be sitting here talking right now.
Thank you. I hope you have a wonderful week and the rest of your evening. And you guys should follow Sapitron on Twitch and Twitter and join his Street Wars Discord community via the links that should be in chat right now. Go click them, check them out. And if there's somebody you would like to nominate for a future community spotlight, you can do so at aka.ms/community spotlight. And they might end up right here next to me on the show next month so I can talk to them all about all the things they do. There is more community news up next. But first, let's take a look at last month's official Forza photo contest winners. Enjoy. Lovely. I love that music. If you want to win cool prizes and have your photos and liveries featured on Forza Monthly, please do visit the Forza forums for more details on the weekly official contests and get involved yourself. Do it. Do it. Do it. It's time now for our last guest of the day. It's Turn 10 Community Manager, Ali Tak. Welcome back, Ali Tak. It is a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you very much, Leah. Thank you. Nice to be here.
It's nice. We don't have to rush today. We've got some time. I get to enjoy some time with Ali Tak.
Yeah.
I feel like we should have like a talk show thing going on, like with chairs and plants, you know, and like.
Ooh, nice, like a sofa. Yeah. Sofa show.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Should be like
good,
that.
Good morning,
Unfortunately, we are in
Forza. Good morning,
countries.
Forza, we could call it.
Yeah, good morning, Forza. Yeah, that's great. I like that. We can do a radio podcast thing. Well, how are you doing today? It's good to see you.
I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, excellent. It's December. How is it December already? And you know, the community calendar, all the little. I was filling it in the other day, and all the sort of Christmassy stuff started to appear in the calendar, and it was one of those like, what happened with time?
I was watching earlier when they were doing the Horizon update, and I was like, oh my god, it's all snowmen, there's Christmas things everywhere. What is this? We're almost 2023. In fact, the next Forza Monthly show will be next month, 2023. That's terrifying to think about, but yeah.
It's like, yeah. I hadn't thought about it that way yet. Yeah. How?
Just don't think about it. So what are we starting with today? What have you got for us?
Yeah, actually, it's a really cool one to start with. This is sort of a holiday, bit of fun, and also a really exciting event over on Forza Motorsport 7. It's called the Forza Triple Crown, and it is 3 rivals events that are all strung together into this sort of unmissable racing showdown, is what we're calling it, on Forza Motorsport 7. There's some really cool features to it. There's some great in-game gifts to be won for people who take part and for people who do well in the event. But I think one of the sort of fun things about it is that the event allows you to run against all the different community team members from Forza, or a bunch of us. And so there'll be a list of different gamer tags. I'll reel some off. We've got Backlight 50, Mantio Max, Tio Forza will be racing, so look out for Tio. Buttons, the Burls, Raceboy77, and myself as well. And you can find all of our tags on this sort of Forza.net article that will go live tonight. And keep yourself up to date. It'll all be linked in the rival event, so you don't have to write anything down right now. But when it goes live, you'll be able to race against all of us for bragging rights. And so go easy, don't hurt me too badly.
There you go. It's a nice visual demonstration.
Yes, exactly. So we've got 3 different events, and this is kind of the poster for the first one. The first is going to take us to Suzuka in the rain, and in the 1988 McLaren MP4. So it's kind of a harkening back to a pretty epic F1 race from way back in 1988. This is going to be a cool one. The second one is going to be in the Mazda 787B. It's just a brilliant car with a rotary engine. I think everyone who's played Forza Motorsport 7 must have had a go in it already, so it's not going to be news, but jump back into the seat of that one at Road Atlanta, of all places. And then finally, the BMW M3 GT2 at Hockenheim. And this will be the last event, a great sort of stocky GT car to bump over the curbs at Hockenheim. It'll be a fun one too. So all 3 of these rivals events are going to run simultaneously from the 15th of December through to January the 3rd. And if you take part and do well in any single one of them, then you can win the prizes associated with that specific event, which happen to be the Olympia driver gear, the JD driver gear, and the Kate driver gear. For rounds 1, 2, and 3, respectively. But if you take part in all of the events with this hand gesture, then you can win the Master Chief driver gear. Yes, exactly. The Master Chief driver gear, the 2010 Maserati Gran Turismo Forza Edition as well. So you get some extra nice prizes if you do all 3 of them. It'll be a fun event. The last thing to say as well, for anyone who's hyper competitive, is that the top 10 people will appear on a leaderboard, I think on Forza.net, and we'll keep track of not just your separate times, but we'll add your times up together and see who cumulatively is going to be the Forza Triple Crown champion for 2022. Something like
Only
that.
if we can say it 3 times fast, though.
I can't say it one time.
So we were speaking with Saputron earlier, who reckons that their best race performance so far has actually been when they were commentating whilst racing. So I need to know, have you ever tried to commentate and race at the same time, and did you have any luck?
I think Sappy's skills are way past mine. I don't know about commentating and racing at the same time. I can just about keep the car on the track while I'm talking at the same time. But yeah,
maybe that's what you need to
someday.
do. Get into the zone. Yeah, Sunday, get into the zone, commentate, and I need you to stream the stream of consciousness that's going to be occurring here. So we can all
got a young man from the Netherlands, been training through the off season for this. Finally getting his chance to shine.
He's had 2 cups of coffee and half a bacon sandwich this morning, but he's raring to go, and you can tell.
Yeah, exactly. He's worrying about having to walk the dog later, but he's putting it at the back of his mind. So brave. What an amazing person. Yeah.
Oh, what an overtake. He's suddenly in first place. It's amazing how that works. All right. It has been a minute since we talked about a Torah event, and the Bathurst Showdown happened very recently. So fill us in. What happened there?
Yeah, the Bathurst Showdown was the last Torah event of 2022. It was 12 hours around Bathurst in sort of vintagey. Are they still called V8 supercars? If they're vintagey ones, it might be a slightly different name for the series. You can correct me in chat. But yeah, but I think it's called something different. But the Group 3A winners were, importantly, ESV Motorsports, so crowning off an amazing year of winning. Barcode and Griffin took the thing home, so congratulations to you guys. Yeah, tiny round of applause.
Tiny clap, boys.
And OTR came second in Group 3A, so that's the faster group of cars with Moose and Poping, but also won and came second in the sort of slightly slower group, the Group 3B cars, with Renault and Anonyms, and then Elements, Flow, and Furaz. I will say both the OTR teams, I think both, at least the winning team, ran the Volvo 850R, so like the big estate Volvo, in their run as well. So they get extra Forza monthly points for having run that car and won it. Yeah,
Respect.
super cool. Last thing on Toro. They announced the next year's 24 Hours of Daytona is going to take place on the 21st of January. So, I mean, that's already like, I don't know, less than or just slightly over a month away. So it's really not far. That 2023 will be here soon. So get over to racetoro.com.
No, it won't.
Yeah. Once you've spaced up like time and the way it rushes past, then go to spacetoro.com and sign up for the 24 Hours of Daytona. Or never face up to it and just hide.
No, yeah. Like, just stick your head in the sand. It's fine. Before you know it, we'll be talking about another Bathurst showdown, and it'll be December 2023. And
That's right. Hold on to something.
Yeah. Any events coming up over the holidays that you'd like to shout out then, since we are accepting the passage of time?
Yeah. So one community I really wanted to shout out for their awesome holiday calendar is the r/FM4 community. They're out on Reddit, so r/FM4 sort of speaks for itself in terms of their address, and they have loads of different events happening over the sort of December period. They actually just had their, I think it's called the Ovalaganza or something, the Great Left Turn or something like that. They have something. It's an awesome title. I'm doing it no justice. And they have loads of more events as well through December. So do go and check that out. I think one in particular is the sort of Week of Fun Racing, which is starting on the 20th of December. So sort of just when all the family are in one area and it's all getting a bit intense and a bit much, then maybe you can withdraw to the Forza study and hide and play some fun racing with FM4.
The idea that everyone has like a room in their house like yours right now. Is that what you call your office? This is the Forza study.
my third reception room, the Forza study, where I retire after billiards. Yeah, that's right.
It's in the West Wing. You shouldn't go there.
Yeah.
What else have we got on the community calendar though? Let's take a look.
Cool. Let's check it out. So lots coming up in the first week of December. We've actually got so many events throughout December as well. I just want to shout out all of the Forza community organizers for putting up these events. I think just in terms of our calendar, the things that we're picking up, we have events every single day up until like mid-month sometime. So it's really, really cool. And that's just like one day that we miss. So loads and loads of events this sort of period. There it is, Ovalaganza Left Turn Spectacular. Just missed it on the 29th, but coming up soon, we've got the Truckin' Utes from Late Night Racing, which is a really cool series and actually running quite far into 2023. So still lots of time to get involved with that. Also, MEA's NASCAR Cup is returned. So do get involved with that. Season 5, they do such a great job putting together competitive racing and with a nice inclusive community as well. So if you're just looking into getting into some sort of FM7 competitive racing, that might be a nice place to start. And then finally, the Toyota Cup Round 2 will be on the 4th of December. I wonder if Sappy from earlier on will be commentating it. He may very well, so we might get lucky with that. So do head on over to 1 Hour of Racing's Discord and get involved there as well.
Plenty to be getting on with there. Plenty to whet your appetite before we see each other again. Thank you so much, Ali, for joining us as always, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye. Have a great holiday.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, the reality. That's the end of our show today, but there is more in store, so do stick around because there's always things happening on the Forza channel. Forza Horizon 5 Let's Go will start straight after this show, and there'll be a full preview of the next 2 months of content updates. So do stick around for that. And then if you tune in tomorrow, you get Forza Friday, a weekly stream hosted by devs and members of Turn 10 Studios. And that is it from me. So a huge thank you to all of our guests, as always, and all of you for watching. Thank you so much. Give us a follow on here and all the various Forza channels for more great streams, information, and fun content. I'll see you next year, I think. Have wonderful holidays and see you on the next Forza Monthly. Goodbye.